very, very pleased. The athletic ability is top notch. We've adjusted some things, in his, not only his motion, I don't get into specifics of that, but you can see the improvement, the timing, and in young quarterbacks, and he's no different. He just need reps, and we're trying to get him as many reps as we can throughout this off-season program, and he will take a large part of the preseason. That's the design. So him and I talk about preseason quite often because, that's what we're building.
What's going on, Cowboys fans? It's your boy Foots here. OTAs, man, like football things are happening. No, they're not in pads. They're running around in shorts. And listen, some of them don't even got a star on the helmet, but I don't care. When you get to see these rookies that you scouted, that you watch film on, when you get to see them lined up, when you get to see them doing football things, it's cool to talk about. And I think that Mike McCarthy, if nothing else, some of the discipline things with his camp and with how he runs things, maybe you could question some of that. But I will say this. He does a great job of teaching the game, getting these kids prepared and ready to go. And I just think that Mike McCarthy does deserve that credit. One of the things that he said that stuck out to me was we want to throw a lot at them early. Like these days, the installs are going to be hard. I'm like, well, Mike, wait a minute. Nope, they're going to be hard. Rookie minicamp, we're going to slow walk it. Installs for OTAs, hard. Why? Because we want to see what they can take, the information retention, what they can retain. And then over the summer, what they're having issues with, we clean up. I think that's a great way to say, which one of these guys can get on the field early from a mental standpoint, not just the physical, from a mental. I thought that he raved about Trey Lance. He's a great teacher. Like, even hearing him say, Trey Lance's ball placement looked better, his mechanics look better, and he kind of stopped himself because I know he didn't want to get carried away. But just hearing him rave about Trey Lance, and then Trey Lance actually going on the field and actually looking a certain way, like looking like he's been in the program, looking like he's, the thing about Trey Lance, and I'm not going to do this deep dive again, and he actually is one of my takeaways, so we can get into the takeaways. I talked about this in my last video, so you guys go check that out, and I actually talked about Corey Crooms, who he was throwing the ball to well today. The thing about Trey Lance is he literally hasn't played a lot of football. And you hear Mike McCarthy say he just needs to play more football. Like, he just needs to do more football things and be in a better football environment. And you're able now to slow walk things with him and honestly just let him get confidence. And we saw it today. A lot of people have been raving about Trey Lance and his arm talent. It was on display today, hitting Crooms. And, again, they're on air. Nobody's playing defense. But I'd rather it be this than the ball spraying all over the place, him not being accurate. It's been, well, Mike, it's not even being reported. Mike McCarthy said he cleaned up his mechanics. His release looks a little bit better, and Mike wanted to make sure that was done a certain way. This is a guy who's developed some legendary quarterbacks, guys, and one of those quarterbacks being Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was not he was not Aaron Rodgers who he is now before Mike McCarthy. Like, Mike McCarthy gets a lot of hell, but give him respect for developing a guy like Aaron Rodgers. So it looks like they're taking a good path with Lance. And this is not to say that Lance is going to be a starter. It was actually interesting hearing Dak come out and say that, listen, Lance pushes me, just so we're clear. Like, I'm not a guy who wants to give up reps. And when I'm looking at Lance, and if you've never played sports, you won't know what it's like to see or have a young guy that you're like, man, this kid can play. I better stay on my stuff. And that's what makes the room more competitive. Not the contract and all that crap. It's more about the football and making sure that guys are being sharp. Even Dak, like, as good as he is, MVP candidate, he still needs to be pushed, bro. Nobody is above. Like, we got to get out of this. Nobody is above being able to get better, really and truthfully. So it's good to hear that Trey Lance is doing his thing. And to me, that's awesome. Now, let's talk about Luke Schoonmaker. He's already hurt. I just don't get it. Like, I don't know how did he hurt his hamstring? Is this something lingering? But I'll tell you what, this reminds me a lot of a situation when the Cowboys drafted Kelvin Joseph, they drafted Nashawn Wright. Neither one of those guys hit. The Cowboys forced it. And lo and behold, DeRon Bland a year later was better than both of them, and it was pretty apparent he was early on. You could have a situation like that with John Stevens and John Stevens Jr. These guys with these 5 names, and Brevin Spann Ford. I said Jordan. These guys with these 6 names, like, parents, what are you doing? Just call him Brevin. Anyway, those two tight ends mixed with what you already have in Ferguson, it's going to look a certain way if Schoonmaker is not prepared and those guys get an opportunity in preseason. Because another thing, and one of my takeaways is, man, Brevin Spann-Ford is a big guy. Like, Lundewell said he was 6'8". He's 6'8". He probably did grow another inch. He's tall. And not only is he tall, but he has an NFL body. Like, I'll drop the picture. He has an NFL body. And that's half the battle. And he's a really want-to punishing blocker, Big Ten kid. Brevin, if he can give you anything in the passing game, if he can keep up with the playbook, it'll be interesting, man. It'll really be interesting. A few more things that I wrote down. It's cool to see that Jalen Tolbert has been in the weight room and that he's taking it more serious. And, Mike McCarthy said this as well. He looks more physical. He looks bigger. He looks like he wants to take that jump. Michael Gallup is out the way. Now, it was interesting to hear that Turpin was getting used as wide receiver 3 today. Cooks, they're saying that he still looks amazing and that his speed is locked in. We got to remember, Dallas did all of this offensively. This was Mike McCarthy's first year calling plays. Had to get all that Linehan, Kellen Moore, Jason Garrett fluff mindset thinking out and let Mike kind of slow walk this thing. And then after week 6, week 7, it hit. People have to remember, now another year of this, get ready. So I think that that's a really good thing. And then my last take, and that was most important to me, and, Patrick C. Walker did a great job of kind of nailing all these and talking about all these, but I'll be honest with you, man. The fact that Kneeland already looks good, Aisha Morrison tweeted about it. The fact that Marshawn Kneeland already looks good, and this is, shameless plug, I'm going to be doing a deep dive on Kneeland, not just the player, but why he was drafted. To me, he was drafted because of his physicality in his hands. Like, people think that because he doesn't have a lot of sacks that he can't play, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. Marshawn Kneeland is a physical, gritty somebody, and I think the people are going to be really surprised by just how physical he is. So that's kind of like the rundown, man. Trey Lance is looking good. Schoonmaker's hurt. Don't like it. Brevin Spann-Ford is just a big dude. Tolbert, this is your shot. Go take it. Get to the free throw line. Do whatever you got to do. Play the game. and Marshawn Kneeland already looks like an NFL pro. And, you can see it. You could tell. Like, if a guy has it, you could tell. Maris Louisville was working in and out with the ones, so that's pretty cool. DeMarvin Overshown, he looks like he's on steroids. Like, he has not missed arm day at all. Like, so this guy's in the gym. Like, he looked like me last year, and then he added some grit. I got it. I'm working my way back. We ain't gonna trip. So anyway, it's your boy Foots, man. As always, thank you guys for sharing, subscribing. The channel is growing. I hope you guys enjoy the improvements. I hope you guys enjoy the new mic. More improvements are coming, so please keep liking, keep sharing. Please send it around. Guys, football is back, even if it's in helmets and shorts. Peace.